gang signals, saving lives. For some of the world's best ballers, the ink on their body means a lot more. So I decided to make a list of the 10 footballers with secret tattoo meanings. First up, Emiliano Martinez's decision to get inked was because of the most important moment of his life. 18th of December 2022, the day I finally asked my crush out, and she said no. But really guys, this was the day of the biggest showpiece event in football, the World Cup final. For this one, Argentina was facing France in a titanic match, and the hype around it was electric. After losing their first game, no one had even expected Argentina to make it that far. But thanks to the heroics of their goalie Emiliano Martinez in the group stage and knockout phase, they were in the final. The match didn't disappoint. By the 119th minute, it was 3-3. It looked for all the world like this one was guaranteed to enter a shootout, and it seemed like even the players themselves already thought of it like this. But just as the ref was about to blow for full time, France got one last chance. The Argentine defense didn't take care of the ball properly, and once Kolo Muani was in, the entire stadium was up on its feet. All he had to do was score and win the World Cup for France. So he hit it, but this happened. Martinez made an unbelievable save. This ended up being the turning point because the game went into a shootout and Argentina ended up winning on penalties. Martinez knew that if he didn't make this save, there was no way his team would have gotten here. So he decided he would make sure he'd remember that moment for the rest of his life.
I love.
Yes. This is what won the World Cup. This is very like
Neat! Martinez isn't the only goalie on the list getting ink for world-class saves. In 2022, another hero on gloves had an impressive year. Only this time, he did it on multiple occasions and got inked as a reward. In 2022, Real Madrid and Liverpool faced off in the Champions League final, a repeat of the final 4 years back. Liverpool lost that one, so this time around, they were out for revenge. So as soon as the ref started the game, they threw everything at Madrid. The shots kept flying left, right and centre, but the only reason they didn't go in was because of this guy, Thibaut Courtois. He became a machine that night. Courtois pulled off a series of stunning saves against Liverpool throughout the match. In the end, thanks to Courtois' heroics, Real Madrid won the final 1-0. Courtois won the Man of the Match award as a goalie, and to make sure he'd never forget that magical moment, he got a tattoo with a huge meaning behind it. TC1, the original, and a legend too. Now looking at Courtois' tattoo again, it's pretty easy to understand the reason why. Can't say the same for Sergio Ramos though, because his work of ink has a secret message attached to it. When it comes to tattoos, Ramos is a huge fan. I don't know which one Ramos loves more, body ink or red cards. Ramos has over 40 tattoos on his body, and some of them are pretty cool, like the names of his mum, Paqui, and his wife, Pilar Rubio, or his dream catcher tattoo. But on his right and left biceps, Ramos has tattoos that talk about one of the darkest days in world history. The 9/11 attack was a sad day on the planet. A lot of lives were lost. Ramos remembers the tragic events too, but instead of remembering to feel pain, the words only served to drive him to become a good person, to honor those who died. Damn, I used to think that was the coolest piece he had, until I saw his fingers. Those numbers tell a huge story. 32, 35, 90 plus, and 19. Now 35 and 32 represent the first shirt number he wore at the start of his professional career, and 19 was the first shirt number he wore playing for the national team. I bet you're wondering what the 90 plus stands for. Since there's no jersey number like that, well, this one I'd rather just show you instead.
Modric takes. It's a header from centre.
The goal that turned him into a legend. Ramos' 90-plus equalizer versus Atletico Madrid helped Real Madrid on their way to winning La Decima in 2014. Iconic. Ramos' tattoos tell the story of a dude who made it to the top, but Neymar's tattoos tell the story of a kid who had to grind his way up. Growing up, Neymar had it rough. His parents were so poor that sometimes they struggled to even pay the electricity bill or have food. But the only thing that kept Neymar going in the tough times was his love for the beautiful game. Neymar had dreams of one day making it to the top, so he put in the hard yards every day. And looking back at his career now, it's safe to say he made it. Neymar knows this, and he also remembers that little kid growing up in the poor city of Sao Paulo with nothing but football on his mind. And to honor his childhood memory, he got inked to his skin. Neymar's also got tattoos of his family members on his body, like his mum Nadine and his sister Rafaela, which are easy to guess, but it's the phrase on his left thigh that got everyone talking. In 2020, Obviously, the death of Kobe Bryant hit the world hard, got me crying for weeks. Neymar was one of the many footballers who got to meet Kobe during his lifetime, and straight away the Mamba mentality rubbed off on him. After Kobe died, Neymar paid tribute to him with a special goal celebration. But it wasn't enough, and that's when Neymar remembered one of Kobe's most inspirational quotes and decided he was going to get it etched on his skin. Just like Kobe, all Neymar ever wanted to do was win. I guess it's a Brazilian thing to pay the ultimate respect to heroes with body art. Neymar, his Brazilian heir, Vinicius Jr. The dude needs no introduction. I mean, seriously, he's been on different gravy for the past couple of seasons. But you see guys, it didn't always start great for Vinicius, because anyone who remembers him during the early days know he used to get trolled almost every week. Getting all that stick would have been enough for any youngster to switch clubs or force a move away, but instead Vinicius stayed, improved his game, and has now become one of the best wingers of his generation. See guys, the reason Vinicius was able to overcome the early hard days was because of his mentality. If he ever needs inspiration, all he's got to do is look at the heroes tattooed on his back. He's got Kobe, Michael Jordan, Pele, and Muhammad Ali, all tattooed on his back. An 8-hour session just to get this one done. I mean, I love my heroes, but I'm not so sure I'd be willing to spend 8 hours on a chair to finish this one. Shout out to Vinicius, man, the dude's a legend already. Vinicius's tattoo was about drawing inspiration from his childhood heroes. Arturo Vidal, his tattoo was to save a kid's life. Not just any kid, his third son. Arturo Vidal loves tattoos. He's got almost every part of his entire body covered in them. I even heard his favorite one is a quote that translates to awesome. Subscribe to Mr. Football. Heck, Vidal's getting tattooed to represent the channel. A legend. Despite his incredible amount of tattoos, apart from the Mr. Football one that is, Vidal's also got a special tattoo that acts as a signal. In 2016, right after winning the Copa America with his country Chile, Vidal came back home to celebrate with his family, when the doctors gave him the disturbing news. His son, Alonso, had been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Vidal decided to do a little snooping around, and that's when he realized the huge problem in front of him. At the time, there was no proper awareness program for kids and people suffering from this type of diabetes. Vidal knew the best treatment for his son Alonso was getting an insulin pump, and right after he did, my man turned his favorite hobby into a cause for the greater good. He didn't just stop with getting this insulin tattoo. Vidal made a public appeal to the Chilean president, Michael Bachelet, asking for improved access to insulin pumps for youths with type 1 diabetes. Vidal, I wasn't familiar with your game. This hard-hitting guy on the pitch is a nice guy off it. Footballers using their body art to fight for the greater good. Hey, I've seen that one before, Vidal. And the king himself, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Ibrahimovic is no slouch when it comes to getting body art done. He's football's very own king of the jungle, and got the tattoo to prove it. Impressive. I mean, I would get one, but my mum said no already. In 2015 though, Ibrahimovic used his tatted body to shock the world, and pass a deep message to everyone watching. Here's the deal. In 2015, Ibrahimovic was still playing for PSG when they faced Caen in the French Ligue 1. And right after scoring, he decided to do a celebration that he knew would cost him. He took off his shirt just 2 minutes into the match after scoring. Ibrahimovic immediately received a yellow card from the ref, but he didn't care because judging from the crowd's reaction, his mission was a success. He'd got a new ink done that covered his whole body. It looked cool until weeks later, another photo of Ibrahimovic appeared again, and this one left everyone stunned. All his tattoos were gone, no traces. This one left curious fans like me asking Zlatan what had happened, until he came up with an explanation. When I took off my shirt against Caen, everyone asked what these new tattoos were. I had 15 removable tattoos on my body. They are the names of real people who are suffering from hunger in the world. Wow, Zlatan was trying to raise awareness for poor starving people in the world using tattoos. Wherever I go, people recognize me, call my name, cheer me, but there are names no one cheers for. If I could, I would write every single name on my body. There are 805 million people suffering from hunger in the world today. So whenever you hear my name, you will think of their names. Whenever you see me, you will see them. No wonder he's a legend. What a guy. If I'm being honest though, I used to think Zlatan's lion tattoo was the coolest one I'd seen in the game, until this next dude showed up and used his ink to make a statement. For Memphis Depay, his journey to the top has been anything but smooth. He went went from being a Dutch wonderkid talent at PSV to getting signed by Manchester United in 2015, but the move never worked out for him. Some even labelled him as a flop when United sold him to Lyon. But in France, Memphis picked up his career and became so good he was even club captain before signing to Barcelona. Now Memphis plays for Atletico Madrid, and looking back at his career and his over 50 tattoos, there's one piece that stands out, because this one describes everything: his lion back tattoo. When he first got this piece, many people thought it was because he was Dutch and probably wanted to rep the national team's logo or something. But for Memphis, it was more than that. The lion piece was about explaining everything he'd had to go through just to make it. I've always had a feeling that I've been brought up in a jungle. I was always outside. I've been to rough areas and I've been through rough times. The lion on my back represents me. I have the heart of a lion. The lion is for me the king of the jungle, and I always stayed on my feet even though it was rough. Safe to say the lion mentalities work out for Memphis, because now he's one of the national team's star players and is even vice captain too. Memphis admitted the lion tattoo took him a long time to complete, but at least it was worth it. There was no controversy on there, like the time Raheem Sterling got a tat that turned an entire country against him. Coming into the 2018 World Cup, Raheem Sterling was balling for Manchester City and the national team. As a result, he made the cut for England's 2018 World Cup squad. But weeks before the tournament even began, Raheem started getting called to get kicked off the team after a picture of his new tat went viral. He got a sub-rifle on his leg. No wonder he was getting aimed at. But you see guys, this tattoo wasn't just for fancy from Sterling. It had a pretty huge meaning to him. And once the backlash became too much, Sterling decided to come out and explain to the entire world why he'd done it. When I was 2, my father died from being gunned down to death. I made a promise to myself I would never touch a gun in my life. I shoot with my right foot, so it has a deeper meaning and is still unfinished. Still, people like Lucy Cope, who created the Mothers Against Guns group in 2012, demanded that Sterling cover up his new art. But he kept it regardless and was part of the England team that made it to the semi-finals of the World Cup that year. The controversy surrounding Sterling's tattoos died down after this, only because he explained what it meant. Wish Messi would do the same, man. His tattoos have me thinking he's dropping gang signals. Even though it didn't start out like that, when it comes to tattoos now, Lionel Messi is a fan. From some cool ink like getting his mum's face at the back of his right shoulder to getting a picture of Jesus Christ on his arm. Messi's gotten some amazing ink over the years, but there are a couple that stand out for weird reasons too. When I first saw this one, I was confused until I looked at it again and realized that the eye was Messi's wife, Antonella Roccuzzo. That's her eye. Seems Messi's the guy who would do anything for the ones he loves, even if it means getting tattoos in weird places. My first thought was that Sergio Ramos kicked him near the balls, but that's Antonella's lips. It's not just the women Messi's getting his tats for, he does it for his kids too. In 2012, right after his son Thiago was born, Messi got his handprints on his calf and covered it up with a heart, signifying his love for his son. He's also got tats of his other kids, Matteo and Ciro too. Ultimate dad moves. I guess that tattoo must have somehow boosted Thiago's career. I mean, carrying his dad's DNA and all, the kid's now turned into a machine. He's been dropping so many insane performances. You won't believe how good he's become in 2024. But you can see how in the next video.